That's funny.
Hey guys, what's going on? We're live with a bad camera, but we're live. We're
Yeah.
we're we're trying to make this work. So what's going on, guys?
There's no one to talk to, so
Yeah. So
there's no guys right now.
all right.
But
It is
we're just gonna,
it is
yeah.
7:07 p.m. Chasing Shadows live on Facebook, all
Ooh,
by ourselves. How's it
yeah.
going, Dan? Hey, there we go.
I'm not gonna do call outs unless somebody actually
Well, I'm
types
gonna.
something.
Hi, Lisa Ann. Nice to see you. Tell all your friends to come and check us out.
um,
So
I don't know.
tonight's we're just kind of trying this out. We got another type of camera system we're working with on a
Yeah,
computer,
the other
and
camera would definitely be better.
well, we
But
do have a better camera. We just gotta figure out how to hook it up for this live session here. So we're basically talking about anything anybody really wants to, and so we also have Mark. Hello, Kristen. Everybody, how's it going, guys? We're just trying this out here. Talking about some
yeah, Mark.
yeah. Wow, we're a leaping success now, aren't we?
Ooh. All right. It's been a
Uh,
couple of weeks since we've been behind the microphones,
yeah, it's
but
been a while. I've got a really bad back, and this cold weather cripples me up. So we might even have to do one
I was
live
just gonna say
session
hi.
from when I'm home sick in bed, which really sucks. But so glad that we got a couple of people on. So
Yeah, it's a little trial by error thing, but
so
we'll
tonight
see.
we were talking a little bit. We were watching some stuff. My daughter heard something about in Connecticut there was some UFO sightings. So we just tried to find it, and we didn't really have much success. But
Uh, let's see. We
I
saw one that looked like it could have been a bird.
think it was a bird.
Yep.
Yeah,
We saw one that was either a dirty window or just light reflecting off of the window.
yeah, it's a reflection. Yeah, yeah. And then the one in the car was definitely a reflection from the phone
Oh yeah,
that they were videotaping.
yeah.
So,
Pretty much garbage.
so no UFOs, unless you guys have seen something. Some years back, I do remember back in the '90s. Uh, it was a summer night, and there was some kind of sightings that were actually happening downtown around City Hall area in Torrington, Connecticut. And later on, we found out it was kind of cool and spooky. And it was a warm summer night. Everybody's like, "There's no sound." Found out it was a bunch of night hang gliders that did like counter maneuvers with lights and smoke and stuff. It was kind of cool, but
Huh.
they were for the most part a UFO until we found out what they were. So
Well, I mean, if you really think about it, until it's identified,
it
it
is a
is a
UFO.
UFO.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. It doesn't mean it's from outer space. It just means you're not sure what it is. But there's been a lot of interesting stuff. I know that Barkhamsted was always loaded with sites around the reservoir. People said they
Yeah,
saw
yeah, I was
stuff.
thinking about that. Yeah.
I remember as a little kid used to you know, hey, what's going on, Bob? My brother Bob's here with us.
Nice. Hey, Bob.
So we're just talking about UFO, guys. Anything that you guys might have heard or seen. We did talk about there was a sighting my daughter mentioned, but
Yeah, I don't know if that's the one that we saw or not, or
I don't know.
if
It
it was a different one.
wasn't
I don't
really
know.
impressive, to be honest.
No, no, that one
So,
wasn't.
uh, I guess it takes a lot to, I guess, impress me now as I get older. But
Truth, truth.
but
Uh,
you have any interesting stories about things you couldn't quite explain?
yeah, yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Actually, before we get into that, though, I just wanted to say that what we were up to before we hopped on here. We were over on YouTube for a fundraiser
Oh
for
yeah,
somebody
yeah.
that I don't know personally, but we're kind of in the same community as far as flat Earth debunking. And this poor girl has gone through a lot of shit in the last year. And in 1 hour on a live stream, we raised something like $2,000 for her.
Yeah, it was kind of
You
cool.
know,
Yeah, it was very cool actually.
yeah, it was really awesome.
You know, it's that's something that you know could be infectious. If somebody puts a couple bucks towards something, whenever I see something like a jar or I always try to do something because you know what, I've been in that predicament where we were absolutely on rock bottom before my back surgery, and that was scary. It was very scary. So whenever I see if I can help out somebody, even if it's only a couple bucks, try to do everything we can, But thank you, Bob. We will try to have a great show.
Yeah. It's still a work in progress after
yeah.
a couple months.
Yeah, it's so. But yeah, I got to say, when I was a little kid, we used to camp at this place off of Rattling Road in New Hartford, just past the reservoir. And being a little kid, used to look up. There was no light pollution there, so we were on top of a mountain. We always used to look up, and you would actually see satellites and stuff. My father would tell me how you can tell the difference and stuff. And every once in a while, you'd come across something in the sky that you just couldn't really figure out what it was. But I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's certain little things that maybe could have been questionable, but I've always been interested in paranormal stuff, but I can't think of an actual time where I've seen something and thought like, "Ooh, I think I just saw a UFO." I just haven't had that experience.
I would like to. I mean, I think it'd be really exciting as hell to see something go, wow, what is that?
If you want to talk like possible spirit type activity, I've got lots of stories for that.
Yeah.
But not in the UFO front.
It's kind of weird though how we don't spend much time looking up in the stars anymore because we're so much looking at our phones or television screens or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's true. I mean, what do you lose in a day just by not taking in some of the scenery? And you can, it's pretty amazing.
Just, I mean, in interacting with other people too.
I think as I'm getting older, I'm starting to be more apt to slow down and try to look around a little bit more, taking things that I've always taken for granted, because it seems that we lived in this very, very small state our whole lives for most of us that are stuck here in Connecticut. And there's so many cool things as much of a sucky state as this is because of our government, but there is still a lot of pretty stuff to check out, and there's a lot of really cool places to go. And before I get the hell out of this state, which really won't be soon enough, I think, but I really would like to check out some more of it, but also check out some of these folklore legend areas and stuff.
Yeah, that's something that I wanted to talk to you about, because we talked about doing this like a long time ago, and life happens.
Yeah.
But, not just as far as investigations themselves go, but let's come up with some places to check out.
Yeah, like investigate an area.
Maud's grave, like we talked about that.
Yep.
Things like that. That would be really cool.
Well, I think, I think with some of the things coming up too, I definitely would like to try to plan a trip, like we mentioned, going to Fall River, Lizzie Borden's. I would still love to do.
Yeah, that's definitely on the list.
And there's Salem would be great. I mean, these places really aren't that far away from one another. I mean, if we go to Fall River, about an hour away or so. I think about an hour away is Salem or whatever. So it's not really that much out of the way.
Yeah.
But I think, there's a lot of stuff coming, coming up too. Now we're going to get through the new year, and as soon as spring comes and we start getting a thaw, I do want to check out the Bridgewater Triangle.
I still got to find out exactly, what area that entails. I know the general area.
Yeah.
But more specific, like what the boundaries are. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I just know there's a ton of stuff that's happened there, from disappearance, Bigfoot sightings, UFOs, ghosts, apparitions.
I mean, you could say that about any of those places.
I guess so. There's some crazy shit that happens right in our own state. People disappear and stuff, and I don't know. It's a spooky
Sometimes
thing.
Crazy shit happens, and other time it's just crazy people.
That could be actually 90% of it when you think about it, I guess. Depending on how
I wish this thing scrolled differently.
Hey, my buddy Ken, what's going on, Ken? How's things in Arizona time?
Cooperstown. I've been to Cooperstown, but it was for the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Actually, I've never been there, but I've always wanted to go. I heard it's beautiful, quaint, and there's a lot of cool things going on there. So.
I missed that comment. Welcome to Flat Earth from Flat Mars. That's good.
Hey, listen, we definitely got to do a Flat Earth show.
We did a Flat Earth show.
Another one. We got to do it in costume, though, this time.
Oh, like a parody show. Right.
Absolutely, man.
That
Come on.
Yeah.
Actually, we are talking about doing some comedy
I've
skits.
spent a lot of time on the Flat Earth topic lately. And
he's been on the flat plane.
Yeah, no. On the debunking side of it. Yeah, I even have some videos up. But yeah, good times.
Yeah, well, you know, I once said to my dad, I guess it takes all kinds, and my father said, nope, it only takes one kind. Unfortunately, there are many kinds.
Mm.
And it took me a long time before I understood what he meant by that. You know, you got a lot of people out there that want to try to give people a bunch of misinformation.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, my God.
And what sucks is a lot of times you really just can't tell.
No.
You know, that's like, the one thing I was talking to you about with Poe's law,
Mm-hmm.
you know, where it's when you take a really out of the box idea and if you present it a certain way, you can't tell whether it's being done in, you know, being genuine or making fun of it. It's impossible.
Well,
that's why Poe or no. That's going to be a little mini show.
Poe or no.
Poe or no.
I like that.
We're going to look at some videos of people with some really out there beliefs, and then try to give our best guess as to whether they really believe it or if they're just taking the piss.
Yeah, well, I you know, it's weird because, as a lot of you know, we have a paranormal group, Supernatural Inc., and we do investigations with ghosts. So we hear a lot of the naysayers and a lot of the this and thaters and the, you know, how do we say, skeptics and all this other stuff. You know, it in that retrospect, I mean, and looking at it in that aspect, no matter what evidence that we would have, if you're a complete skeptic, there's no way you're going to believe anything.
Yeah,
anyway.
Exactly.
But with Flat Earth, it's just complete fucking nonsense. There's no science to back up anything. And the fastest way to say it is what it is because God made it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's fine. But
contrary to what most flat earthers seem to think, there are many of us out there that believe in God.
Yeah.
And think the flat earth is absolutely a joke.
I know.
There are a very small sect of religious people that believe in that.
Yeah. Well, I can definitely say that my faith is what I believe in is good. And I definitely know the world is round.
But here's the thing. Like, you can have faith, but when facts point to a certain thing, you can't just say, well, I'm going to take my faith, even though, you know, like if your faith said that that red is really green, no, that's not correct. You know,
well, it's that whole I guess it's perception. I guess it would be a person's opinion. I guess it's you know, it's kind of like that that internet dress, where is it gold or blue or black, and black and white and gold or blue or whatever.
That's
right?
a real argument though, because you know, just like with the audio one, there really are you know
differences in everybody.
Yeah, but it's a physical thing.
Well, here's something too: is when that dress came up, you know, where the color, whether it's blue or black or what is it, white and black or
white and gold
or whatever, whatever.
Like that, yeah.
Everybody said, well, that's a man's point of view versus a woman's point of view.
No, that's not.
And it's not, because my daughter, who was born as a daughter, sees the dress in the same eye perspective as I do, where her mom and her sister sees it completely opposite. So it's not a male or female thing. I think it's probably the cones in your eyes, the way it takes in light, but that doesn't mean that you know, that the colors are always the same, but it's what we recognize together. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
Other thing I want to point out with when we talked about the audio one with Laurel and Yanny.
Yeah. Explain that to them though, so they can find it and they can check it out themselves.
Well, it's been all over the internet, so you know,
Well, if you don't know,
There was an audio file with. It turns out the word that's actually being said is Laurel, but a lot of people were not hearing Laurel when it played. A
right?
lot of them would hear Yanny or some sort of word similar to that. Come to find out, at a higher pitch, you could actually make out the word Yanny, and at a lower pitch, you definitely hear Laurel.
Yeah,
One
it's
one
kind of the decibels.
correlation I
Yeah,
did see is older people tend to hear Laurel, and younger people tend to hear Yanny.
well, isn't it like
But
that
I don't know.
that app that kids had where they were pressed and they say older people couldn't hear it, but the younger people would be able to hear
Yeah,
it, or the
same,
opposite way around or
something like
whatever.
that.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's the same sort of effect.
yeah.
It has to do with I think I was using the wrong word. Like
Sub
frequency is what I
yeah,
wanted to
sub
use.
frequencies. Yeah. Well, we do that when we look for EVPs too, because
Yeah,
there is a certain level that could either debunk it, where you could say, well, that decibel range is within human hearing.
yeah, yep.
So then you know it's possible it could be an outside voice, it could be this or that. Um, but that's not necessarily always so, because uh, we also know that we've also gotten disembodied voices in places that were completely empty, and you'll hear something. But that means it's within your realm of hearing, whoever that one person is. But it could be Dan and I. Maybe he hears it and I don't, or I hear it and he doesn't. You know?
Taking all that into taking that all into account, it really makes you think about it differently
Yeah.
because what if some of these things that we're picking up on the recorder are something physically around
Yeah.
that we just don't perceive.
That's true too.
It's the one interesting thing with the work we've been doing is it doesn't even have to be ghosts.
No.
What if there is just other things out there that we're picking up that we're just not perceiving in real time? It's very possible.
Well, that whole multiple dimension thing. I mean, it's as crazy as it sounds, and it's starting to sound a lot less crazy the more you hear about what they're starting to prove in science. To me it's extremely fascinating, but it's kind of spooky in a way too, though. You know what I mean? The thought that there are some, hey January, how are you, hon? Good to see you. It's kind of scary to think that we could be sharing the space with someone we can't see, but necessarily isn't a ghost. But you know what I mean? So I mean, what's more scary, the point of the not knowing, I guess, or finally saying, well, it's a parallel universe working right alongside of us, or it's a ghost? I mean,
it either scares me, but damn, I'd like to know.
It's fascinating though, right?
I would love to know. I'd love to have all the answers, but I guess we're just not supposed to.
No. Some answers would be nice though.
Yeah.
I mean, since we're playing the game, why don't they give us a couple of hints?
Yeah,
you know?
throw a few cheat codes
Just
to us.
Throw us a piece of cheese or a couple of crumbs so we can at least make some sense of all this. But yeah, so UFOs was one of the things I definitely want to talk to you about. The other thing was too is well, I'm gonna throw out Bigfoot sightings. Another thing that I've been pretty fascinated about lately is there was some talk. I forget what university it was. Michigan? It might have been Michigan. Somebody recently was just talking about that. I guess they're looking into possible like a gene mutation kind of thing, figuring out if it's possible that maybe we do have some kind of a species of a great ape in the.
It's very possible.
I mean, I still think you got them everywhere else in the world. Why wouldn't you have them here? And obviously, they're going to try to stay away from man because we destroy things. So,
and I mean, this is a species that was around many thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
But the fact that we had, and I'm going to butcher the name, that we had a species like Australopithecus.
Pithecus, yeah. Pithecus, yeah.
Butchered that one. But, I mean, it just makes it possible that something something may have survived through all this time that we just don't encounter.
I just,
You know?
and I don't know, you've got some people that are full of shit that say they see it, but then you
Absolutely.
also have people that, you know, really wouldn't benefit from telling a story about this, except for maybe possibly somebody looking at you like you're fucking crazy.
You know, a big thing that I usually look at when I'm trying to decide, use some discernment into if people are full of shit or not, is to see if are they trying to sell something? Are they
Yeah,
trying to make some
yeah,
money off of it? I mean, don't get me wrong. If I can make a few bucks doing this, sure
right,
I would.
right, right.
But it's not my. Main goal.
No,
But some people are out there just looking to make money, and they're going to do it any way they can.
I think it's difficult too because there's a lot of unscrupulous people out there in every background,
Yeah.
And those people really kind of bugger up true evidence when you find it because nobody's going to believe, word you say anyways. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a different world today. Growing up, I think coming from an era that had absolutely no internet whatsoever, to seeing the birth of internet and seeing the birth of all different forms of news you can get or entertainment, whether it be games or shows or YouTube or all this other stuff. It's all fantastic stuff. However, the problem is the lines get pretty blurred, and you might end up with a bunch of bullshit. I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's hard. As I'm getting older, I'm starting to try to be more open-minded more about things. Not that I was ever very close-minded about things, but
Open-minded is good, but also having a healthy dose of skepticism.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Well, it's
I don't really
it's
think you should be on either end of it. Someone that just isn't. I wouldn't even call him a skeptic. There's just a denier.
yeah,
There's a
yeah,
difference between being a
yeah.
denier and then just being gullible.
Right, right.
There's a lot in between there.
I don't think when skeptics, I don't think are necessarily, you know, I don't necessarily think they're bad because they just want to have actual proof of it. I just moved the
Yeah.
camera again. Sorry about
It's
that.
fine.
So what they want to do is they just want scientific proof to base it up behind, and I get that. I just think it's hard for
Sometimes the proof that they require
yeah,
it's almost impossible.
right,
But
right. But yeah, I don't know, it's definitely different. But there was also something I want to talk to you about too. Is I watched a show In Search of. They redid the series.
okay, yeah, it's a cool show.
Yeah, it is a pretty cool show, and they were talking about time travel and stuff. And there was this cat on who said he was 7 years old when he time traveled with his father from New Jersey through a government program, and
Hmm.
he gave this spun this great yarn. And I shouldn't call it a yarn, but his story was pretty incredible, but it was pretty detailed too. I mean, I know it's kind of weird when you hear stuff like that. It makes you start to realize, is there something with time travel? What they did is they actually got a physicist, and he took two nuclear clocks, and he says,
Okay, yeah.
we can prove that time is affected by gravity. And they said, well, how do you do that? Hey, Albert, how's it going? And they were.
Skeptics are just afraid of the truth. Yeah,
I
some of them are.
agree.
Absolutely.
I agree, January. I really do. I agree. One of the things, Seth, what's going on? One of the things was he took two atomic clocks and he put one at sea level. Okay. Then he took another one and he brought it up to the mountains. And he had this guy for 24 hours, and they brought the clocks back.
And there's going to be a difference.
And there was a difference. It was nanoseconds, but there was still 14 nanoseconds different. He goes, now, if gravity was not a factor here, he goes, this should not change at all. It should be the exact same time.
Yeah.
So what he was saying is that a higher elevation.
Elevation.
Thank you. I'm getting into three different stories at once. He says that time goes faster. And he says, then somebody who's,
There's another thing that goes along with that is the closer you travel to the speed of light, time will also move slower.
right. Because there's something about clocks and airplanes and watches and stuff and how, everything gets,
There's something, I think it's called the twin paradox,
Okay.
where if you have two twins, one stationed on Earth, another gets sent in a rocket close to the speed of light. When they came back,
The baby
the twin on Earth would have aged
40
a
years.
lot,
Yeah.
whereas the person that was traveling away would have barely aged at all. So it's interesting.
So then that does make somewhat time travel somewhat closer.
Traveling to the future is much easier to understand. It's when you start talking about time travel into the past where like things get crazy.
What do you think about those pictures of those people? You think they're all digitally enhanced and bullshitted?
Which one?
All the ones you see about the time travelers, like in the 1930 photos and stuff.
That I don't know because, here's one crazy thing about one. I wish I had something I could throw on the screen right now. But there's actually a time traveler one. You know the guy that's wearing the thing, the young one with the glasses?
Yeah, and he's got like a...
There's a second person in that same photograph claiming to be a time traveler, and you see him somewhere else. He's the same. He looks exactly the same.
Really?
Like, that one has got me. If I'm going to be convinced, that one will do it. Yeah. But there was another one that this guy supposedly went and met himself in the future, and they had the same tattoo and everything. That one turned out to be a hoax.
I really would like to see if time travel was possible. What's this?
You want me to read that for you?
Yeah, go ahead. I don't got my glasses on.
It says, Eric, you got to check out my Sterling Homestead House window photo. Great historic house down here. One person told me they used to stay there, and it was a scary place. That sounds interesting.
Oh, Albert, that'd be awesome. Yeah, definitely will. Thank you, my friend. For a lot of you who don't realize, and in January will probably tell you, and so will Albert and everybody else, I haven't been on Facebook very much. I'm starting to slowly get back there. We're trying to get the show booted up and all kinds of good stuff happening. Winter is always an issue for me. Like poor Dan found out 3 weeks in a row I had to cancel. So it's not Dan or the lack of wanting to do this. You just have to. You might, like I said, you might see a show with me laying prone position in my bed.
We figured out how to use Google Hangouts.
Yes, we did. So if worst comes to worst, you'll see me pretty much in a prone position, but at least we'll be able to do something.
Yeah. If you have a YouTube account, please go and subscribe because that is our primary way of doing this.
Yeah, we're trying to do some things so we can integrate people in.
I wish I could travel to the past too, January.
Yeah, January, believe me, there's so many things I would like to redo and do correctly. In my past, I've made a muck of some things too, just like everybody else. But I would just like to visit some of the people I miss from the past.
Do you ever think about, like, if I could just get a chance to do it? But then the caveat is, you can, but you're not going to remember that you were given the second chance. You'd be like, oh, I'd still do it right. And then I could say to you, what if it's happened and you just don't remember it and you still didn't change it? How's that for a mind blow?
Yeah, that was kind of a mind melt right there. Yeah, it just. Well, that's kind of like the Mandela effect, I guess, right? I mean, if you want to go that route, I mean, that'd be kind of, things changing without you realizing, or you think things are changing when we're just changing, or whatever the case might be. But there's some definitely strange things in this world. One of the other things we were going to talk about is the Bermuda Triangle. Now, you are quite the man of travel, so you've been in and out of that sucker how many times?
12, maybe.
Now, in those 12 times, did you ever see the sky turn dark? Or
nothing out of the ordinary,
or anything that was crazy, like you see a World War II plane fly overhead or anything?
I've never had any strange phenomenon happen in that area.
Hey, what's going on, Mike? How are you, my brother? I think you and I should do some field research with that. We should do some cruises down to the Bermuda Triangle, see what we can find. I think we all should try that, guys. What do you think? let's get on a
Maybe
Bermuda
we can get
Triangle
some
cruise.
funding for that. We can start a GoFundMe and
Oh, that'd be awesome.
have
Right, the
we're
whole
doing
cruise ship,
research in the Bermuda Triangle. We need it done.
the Chasing Shadows cruise, the
Well,
cruise into the unknown,
I like the sound of that.
the cruise into the unknown. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. I wouldn't. Well,
Not a bad idea.
I wouldn't change anything. Yeah, me too. Me too. I definitely miss. I definitely miss hanging out with everybody who's now on the other side that we'll see again eventually. But I agree. It's really amazing too when you think about how many different things happen that are just so unusual that are created by natural nature. We were talking also about sinkholes today. Scariest thing. You think paranormal scary? Sinkholes. Holy shit. I didn't realize.
That's a topic that we definitely are gonna
reincarnate. Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
We're gonna do a whole show on that topic.
That one, and we were also talking about near-death experiences, and there was another one you said, and I was like, oh yeah, we got to do that. It had to do with reincarnation, near-death, and it was something else.
Was it near-death experiences?
No, it was. There was that. There was reincarnation, but then there was something else we talked about. Past life regression.
That was part of the
yeah. But we were talking about meditative state and stuff like that. I actually did that.
Yeah, meditation and stuff as well. Yeah, that was kind of.
I actually did it. That was definitely a unique experience. It's amazing. It's amazing when you think about all these different topics that we've touched base on since even you started through Supernatural, from from witchcraft, curses,
dealt
ghosts.
With witchcraft on the first case I did.
Talk about a baptism by fire. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was sorry, Dan. Fresh out of back surgery.
It was fine.
Fresh out of back surgery. I think my bandage weren't even off, and I knew Danny through his sister, and I know his family forever. But it was just so cool because I was after Danny for a while. You got to join the group. You should join the group.
My schedule was just too crazy then.
God, he was just working every single day, and then finally he goes, "All right." I said, listen, I'm laid up. I don't want your sister going to this place alone. And, I said, you'll have Tom there, but I really would like you to go because I don't want you guys to be, I want you to have a group of 2 and 2 at least. It
ended up just being the two of us.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So I think Skylar and Tom came in afterwards, but you guys went first to check things out. And I think that's when you said, yeah, let's get them in. And then they went in and then but yeah, it's think about just even from the time that we have investigated together some of the different topics and some of the different stories that we've heard and different locations. And there's a ton of locations that we were just talking about. We definitely want to check out, so anybody out there, if you have haunted locations or any kind of ghost stories you want to talk about, or even if you just want to, send us photos or whatever.
Yeah,
we're definitely interested. And if you guys can get us in to investigate, you guys come on the investigation with us. That's the standing order we've always done through Supernatural and through Chasing Shadows. We're going to do the same thing.
And what's cool too is because it's with the Supernatural, a lot of it's obviously been centered around like spirit activity and stuff.
But it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, but we've opened it up more. I mean, because there's so many other interesting topics.
Yeah.
So I mean, it could be anything that's out of the norm. Cryptos.
I still say there was I think we talked about this one of our shows. Like in the 1800s, there was a guy right from Litchfield County that apparently said he saw a Bigfoot here. It was actually documented. It's in historical records or some shit like that. I guess this thing swapped and killed a horse, but who knows? It could have been a bear. You're in the middle of the woods, but I still think that it's quite possible. You think about, I understand when you say that the population is overpopulated for for the world. But think
Is it
about,
really though?
not really, because if you think about this, I heard again today. Now it'd be miserable living situations, but in January, you're from Texas,
That'd
so
be fun.
I would love to come to Texas. I've been saying that. Um, they were saying that Texas was so big they can actually fit the world population in
Yes.
there. But
If it would be like the way you're condensed, like in a big city,
it would, but
but
it would be
yeah,
like prison because you would, but you can. That's so. I mean, think about that a second. We've scratched the surface of the planet, but didn't cover everything. So there's no way you can say that they don't exist.
Hmm.
We can say that we don't necessarily have proof they exist, but we don't necessarily have proof they don't exist. Do you understand that?
Yeah,
To me, that's just as important. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Because if you don't have proof they don't exist, that means there's still that shred that it could be existing. It's possible, you know. And I don't know, it's really weird. I don't know. I find myself fascinated by nature and definitely fascinated by the Bigfoot theory. I don't
yeah.
know.
That is one that you tend to be really
I
interested
just
in.
just because I love nature and there's just something about it. And there's
I
something about
still,
walking in
I
the woods I
still
love.
think that if Bigfoot exists, it's some sort of interdimensional thing. Something
You
that can
know,
hop in and out
I
of.
that's
You know,
why couldn't that be possible as well? I mean, think about things. I mean, listen, I often think that when we fall asleep, we actually slip into a different dimension. I
it's
really
very
do.
possible.
I mean, think about it. How do we know? There, scientists have said that a lot of them believe or theorize. Here's a word for you. That in our subconscious, everything that happens there is just as realistic as stuff that happens in our daily
Well,
life.
I'm a frequent lucid dreamer,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm telling you, when I have lucid dreams, it feels just as real as me sitting here right now,
It's
and I have
completely
the
different.
same level of consciousness as I do right now. And when I wake up from them, it doesn't feel like a dream. It felt like something I just did. So it's
Well,
really
I
fascinating.
was always told that men don't dream in color, and that's bullshit. I dream in color.
I always dream in
I
color.
don't. I don't say, well, that should be brown, so that's brown. I mean, I dream in color.
Oh yeah.
I always have, and it's not. I think I dream in color. I know I
No,
do
I know I do.
because I've come up with paint schemes and stuff like that for different things I've had to, do when I was dreaming. Um,
Albert brought up Booth Park Cemetery and Riverside Cemetery in Sheldon. I'm not familiar with those.
hmm.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, definitely would like to check that out, Albert. That would be awesome. It'd be nice to work on that with you too, because we've been talking about stuff for years. Albert also used to work with another paranormal group, and that's how we first met. And we've been talking about stuff like this, and he's been around the state. Now, him and his mom actually live, I believe it is near Shelton, isn't it? Um, Stafford Springs. I'm sorry. And he was talking about all the cool folklores and legends and stuff, and he's seen some of the stuff. So it's kind of cool. January. Let's see. There's so many haunted places close to me. I would like that. My dad was actually stationed in Texas when he was in the Army, and he had some really cool stories about it. And he said, it's a whole different life there. He goes, people really are awesome. He goes, it makes you appreciate some of the smaller things in life because Texas is so huge. But everybody has a really pretty decent,
When you think about
opinion.
like we can get to pretty much anywhere in the state within 2 hours.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Not so much over there.
yeah. Uh, you know, yeah. I mean that's like country territory. That's so big. You know. Let's see. Yes, check out my pics. Cool. Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's some definitely cool stuff. I know. I was thinking about trying to see what we can hook up with, like some of the old forts again. I would like to go check out Fort Griswold with you, and because I don't think you ever went to Fort Griswold with us, huh?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, that one's kind of cool. We can just pack a lunch and chill out. It's a beautiful area. Um, the history is pretty amazing, but it definitely has that feeling of hollow ground. You know what I mean? You definitely feel there is an energy there. Um, So that would be something I'd like to do when the weather gets a little warmer.
Yeah. Oh, you know something that just popped into my mind? We were talking about dreams and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I need to fact check this, but I saw someone posted this on Facebook today. No clue if it's anything close to the truth. To me, I don't see how it could be, but I was reading that someone posted something about some sort of MRI type machine that could actually like recreate your dreams so you could watch them. Like I have a hard time
Wow.
believing that that's true, but that would be
Hmm.
awesome, and I would totally sign up for that.
Yeah,
You know?
the only thing, hi Trisha. The only thing I'm not so sure about is, how do you, how would you
Yeah,
do
I
that?
that doesn't make sense to me.
You would have to find out. You'd have to be able to read wave patterns. Well, I
But
guess
then
it's
how do you get
possible.
an
I
image
guess
out of it?
I
Like
really don't know. I guess like a digital camera, I suppose. Putting in a code and having it all. I suppose there'd be probably some way to do that, but
it sounds amazing though.
kind of sounds creepy in a way too, though.
It does sound
Yeah,
creepy.
kind of invasion of privacy in another way, you know. But
I'd
but
make sure it was a lucid dream that I had control of in every
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
So I can control the narrative.
But what the fuck was the donkeys and the three clowns and the midgets all about, man? What the fuck was that?
Oh,
I'm sorry, not midgets, little people. I apologize. Um, it's really amazing. I mean, when you think about technology, I mean, I know I keep saying this in all of our shows, but it's going at such a fast pace. It's actually a little scary. I mean, think about.
and that's everything that we know.
Listen,
Imagine what we don't know.
think about this. In the past 5 years, just 5 years, think about this. Think about what we went from. We went from not knowing what a drone camera was to having them be like $1,000 for something the size of a pie plate, and now you can go to Walmart and pick one up for $39. What just happened here? We went from like high tech government issued stuff to Walmart selling it now. All right, that maybe not the same quality, and I realize the more you spend, the better. But I'm still saying you have a piece of technology that you can hook up to your phone, fly over your house, and do aerial photo shots. How fucking cool is that? You know
Pretty
what
fucking cool.
But you know what I mean? I mean, in 5 years that happened.
Imagine what we'll have in 5 years.
We'll all be able to do this from our dream state.
Yeah, right. Maybe we can, have like Inception, have shared dreams.
Well,
We're gonna do all sorts of crazy shit.
Here's a little segment from that story. So Dan, how's it? Dan, put some fucking pants on, would you?
No.
This is my dream. Get out. Poof, I'm Marilyn Monroe.
No, you're not.
No. Marilyn Manson, maybe.
He's aged.
Oh,
you seen him lately?
He's in rough fucking shit. It's all that praying to Satan, I guess, or whatever.
He's a Christian.
Is he now?
Yeah.
No, he was a
it was all for show.
Satanistic preacher,
It was
wasn't he?
all for show. It's a character.
Was he really in Doogie Howser?
No.
I didn't think so. Was his father really Dr. Green Jeans or whatever? No, that's Zappa, right? Zappa's father was supposed to be Mr. Green Jeans from Captain Kangaroo. Come on, man. Work with these other conspiracy theories over here.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. It was folklore legend that came up with all these stars.
I stick to only the really fucked up conspiracy theories.
Dude, that Mr. Green Jeans' son was Frank Zappa is not fucked up. That's pretty fucked up.
That is pretty fucked
That's pretty funny, though, right?
Yeah.
Flying cars. You know what? Listen, there was some talk about some guys in Japan that were actually, I mean, it looked ridiculous, but they made a flying car. But it looked like a folded up flying car when you're driving it down the street. But there was something in the 50s, my father said, that they did an aero car where it was like that. It was basically the fuselage. You would drive down the street and you would put the wings in the trunk. And you could, I don't know if I would trust myself. Yeah, there was a plane, 60s or 50s. It was an aero car or something like that. And no, I'm not talking about a terraplane. That was something else. But there was a car that you can put wings on it and it would fly, but it was absolutely ridiculous looking. They actually have clips of it on YouTube. They some weird gimmicks that never took off. But
All right.
I would like a flying car. I wouldn't want to run out of gas unless it has air brakes.
Is it me or is this time flying by on this?
Well, we're just having fun. We're shooting shit.
I know, but it's
We're hanging
like
out with friends.
it's just it's going by so much faster than I mean, not that it goes by slow normally, but it
I
feels
know.
like we've been on for 10 minutes
I know.
and we've been on for 45 minutes.
And we've done nothing but psycho babble from the time we said
we're
hello.
just rambling on about nothing.
Oh man. So folks, listen, you guys are out there. What kind of topics do you want us to try to do next week? We can
I think we should look into the reincarnation one.
Yeah,
Although I know you want to. How do you want to do the? Because do you want to look further into the sinkhole stuff? Do you want to make that as part of another topic?
I would like to do something like natural disasters and natural oddities kind of a deal.
Okay,
kind of
so
thing.
yeah, so we can.
Because it's still kind of supernatural when you think about it. The stuff that I saw in the way it was explained to me because of this documentary I watched, I never realized. I always thought you hear something and you see a little hole open up and then all of a sudden it gets bigger overnight. No, they're talking about like a guy in Florida who lost his brother, which everybody who remembers in 2004.
Oh, this is the one you were telling me about before. Yeah.
He said he was in the house with his father and his brother was in the other room and he heard, "Oh my God, help me." And when they walked in and they opened the door, the room was just no longer there. It was in a hole. This guy jumped down into the hole to try to save his brother because he kept his brother's, "Please help me, help me, help me." He jumped down in there, not knowing how deep this thing was. And he said at that time it was probably 15 feet, but still. And then all of a sudden it just kept giving away until finally he said, "Somebody grabbed me by the back of my jacket." And he said, and at that time, so much time went that it was actually the fireman who was grabbing him because he was in shock just trying to find his brother. He's like, time just flew by. And he said eventually what happened was they just could not find him. They actually backfilled it in and they fenced it off and made a little memorial park. And there's a gravestone there for his brother.
Wow.
But he said it happened that fast where he heard help. And he said it sounded like a train hit the house. Like it was like that quick. And he walked in and from when he opened the door, he's like, it was like a scene from a movie where you open the door and there's just a hole. They also showed this one massive, gigantic hole that it was somewhere in South America. And I please don't misquote me in this, but I'm not exactly sure where, but it was inside of a city block and it looked like it was photoshopped. It looked that ridiculously fake, but it wasn't. There was this hole. It was a perfectly round diameter hole that the ground just went that quick. They said it becomes free fall. Not, we're talking free fall, like jumping out of a plane. And this thing went down like over 100 feet. And there was a picture of it and stuff. So, I mean, it's not supernatural, but it is creepy enough to talk about. And I was fascinated by it. And, I think weird oddity stuff like that is, something that, I mean, even if we talk about it, it gives you a little bit of an education to look up. Not that I want people to be afraid, but I mean, it's something definitely to be aware of. It does happen,
Yeah.
So that and some of these earthquakes, these forest fires, and oh man,
tornadoes in the Midwest.
Now they're talking. They were saying
hurricanes down south.
In Yellowstone Park, they're talking that thing's ready to cap and blow at almost any time, right? They say like every 300,000 years or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's soon, but we're talking geologically soon.
It could be 100,000 years.
Yeah, I mean it could be tomorrow, or it could be in 300,000 or 3,000 years. Or
I'm not gonna sleep on it, but if it happens.
And something like that. I mean, really, we couldn't do anything about it anyway, so I'm not going to stress about it. Something I have no control over.
What do you think about these people that build these
doomsday preppers?
Yeah.
Hey, if it makes them happy.
I mean, I think it's kind of a cool idea to have a place, But if you can only have a certain amount of people in there, how do you not go crazy and end up killing each other
here's
too?
the
That's the
thing.
other
Like,
thing,
if shit really hit the fan, and only like a pocket of people are gonna survive, like, I'd rather just be gone.
Me too. Why would I feel that I would be the lucky one that should stick around?
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't be.
I would want my kids to, but I'm not sure if they would want to. You know what I mean? If everybody you knew was gone,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like a.
Buried objects.
Oh yeah.
Buried objects in Gettysburg. Yeah.
Yeah, Gettysburg is
That's
awesome. Buried object. Yeah, definitely could do something about that. Been a long time since I've been to Gettysburg. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, there's definitely some really cool things that we can talk about. I think that one of the things I like to check out is I heard that Old Newgate Prison is open again. So I'm wondering maybe if we went up and visited them, if we can talk about doing a show, tastefully, not so much about ghosts, but doing a show maybe on history and see if maybe they would talk about some of the mishaps that's happened before with other groups that have gone in there. And like we talked about in one of our lectures.
Yeah. The hell was that?
I guess that means we made an hour or something.
50 minutes.
Yeah, what is that?
I have no clue what that noise is. This is the first time I've done this. So
we got 3 people watching us now. Well, thank you for the 3 people sticking out there for us. We appreciate
people
it.
have bounced in and out throughout the show. So it's cool.
Oh, we got a bunch of likes and smiles. That's pretty awesome. Thanks, guys. We love you too. Well, next week we're planning on trying to get 4 people to watch us. We got 3 this week. I think we might be able to do 4.
At one point there was 7.
Well, yeah, we kind of phased out, so it's not really their fault. We've been promising shows and we haven't been delivering, so we got to do that. So next week.
Well, shameless plug time. So if you've got YouTube accounts, subscribe to Chasing Shadows. And also, if you want, I've got a channel under my name, Dan Palladino. I stick to mostly flat earth debunking on that one. This is just something I've been doing recently, but I've been having fun with it. I've gone from being triggered by it to having fun with it. So
you're welcome.
Yeah.
There's a heart.
That's fantastic.
Oh, I can't even reel him in anymore. He's just so cool with it now. He's just like, whatever,
See, I started getting away from centering my positive energy that I've got it back now.
He has now become the Gandhi of Flat World.
Oh my God, that hurt. Wow.
Yeah, well.
All right, well.
on that disappointment.
What do you say we call it? This was fun, though. I got to say, this is something different. We haven't really done. I like this.
Yeah, I do too. I like the idea that we can throw back.
Yeah. So let's do this kind of format, even if it's not all the time, but definitely more.
A couple
often
times
than
a
not,
month would be great,
especially for the people in our group, because some of them might not have YouTube,
right?
And for them being like members of the group, maybe it's something we can do special for them once in a while. Maybe even give them something that doesn't go on YouTube.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely.
That'd be fun.
We're trying to fill this out, guys, and we're still kind of new about it. And
we 4 months in, and although this is kind of new now with this, but we've been doing YouTube stuff for.
Well, we're getting slowly better every time, but it's a work in progress still.
Regardless, I'm having fun.
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
Hey,
so
you know what? This is kind of good therapy. Right now, you kind of get things off your chest, have some fun, have a few laughs, say hi to people we don't normally get to talk to every day. And thank you guys all for watching.
Yes,
God bless. Always ask questions, always look up, and always continue to chase shadows.
That's a good one.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Dan. Have a good one, guys.
Have a great weekend, guys. God bless.